Hey guys, it's Ash here with WatchMojo, and these are the top 20 most censored Pokemon moments. For this list, we'll be looking at the most notable Pokemon scenes that were edited from their original broadcast. However, we'll just be considering censored moments, so full episodes don't count. Number 20, shaving the stash. Settling the School Bunny. The Pokemon dub is no stranger to censoring intense violence, crude humor, and other unsavory imagery. Instead of any of that, this time they took issue with a train attendant's facial hair.
Is there any other way to go besides the train?
Well, there is a bus available, but I'm afraid it leaves in 6 hours.
On paper, there shouldn't be anything wrong with a basic mustache, but then you actually see it and realize it makes him look a lot like a certain infamous dictator. That probably wasn't the intent of the design, but either way, this guy's mustache had to go. So it was completely shaved before the episode was allowed to air in English. No wonder he looks so uncomfortable. Number 19, nail in the coffin. Raid battle in the ruins. Where there's coffins, there's usually bodies, especially when said coffins are inside dilapidated ruins. But despite the obvious implication, the English dub sidesteps any of the actual visuals. It's a bit glaring since a good stretch of the episode involves a trainer getting trapped inside the sarcophagus Pokemon, Cofagrigus. The English version still retains that plot point, but in the ensuing discussion, the image of the body is nowhere to be found.
When a person is inside it, their weight tends to push it downward.
Since they'd literally just rescued someone from the coffin, it's odd that they drew the line at the explanation and not the act itself. Number 18, Ghost Stickers. The Ghost of Maiden's Peak. Ofura are traditional Japanese talismans meant to ward off misfortune, or in this case, to keep terrifying spirits away. There isn't quite a one-to-one parallel for American audiences, so when Ash and the others use Ofura to fight a ghostly enemy, the dub had to take some major creative liberties.
We have stickers! These are anti-ghost stickers!
Instead of ancient talismans or other cultural items, the American episode hilariously refers to them as anti-ghost stickers. As you can imagine, it makes the spine-tingling storyline come across a lot goofier. To be fair, neither the Ofura or the stickers kept the ghost away anyway.
But why? Why aren't the stickers working?
Maybe because...
We got them.
Number 17, the tumbling rice ball. Less is Morrison. No matter how you cut it, Morrison definitely has a memorable entrance, that's for sure. In the original broadcast version, he meets Ash after chasing down his runaway lunch. His debut in English is just as noteworthy, but for some very different reasons.
What's up?
There, Morrison's rice ball was replaced with a sandwich instead. It doesn't quite look right, and not just because of the culture shock. Evidently, the censors failed to consider that a foot-long sandwich doesn't bounce down a hill the same way a rice ball would. So dub watchers are left with a sub that completely ignores the laws of physics and gravity. Number 16, Ash vs Carvanha. A corphish out of water. They're called Pokemon battles for a reason. Trainers aren't supposed to be directly involved. But when Ash ticked off a school of Carvanha, he got hit with a sea of retribution, at least in the Japanese version.
What is that Pokemon?
Carvanha, the savage Pokemon.
There, the piranha Pokemon don't show him any mercy, and even hit some damage on the back of his head. The dub, however, took issue with a human character being put in harm's way. Since there's no real way to edit around the violence, the shots of Ash and their attack were completely omitted. They were later reinstated for the international release, and eventually returned in future American broadcasts too. Number 15, Brock's Love. The School of Hard Knocks. When Ash and friends meet the young trainer Giselle, Brock's lewd tendencies come out in full force. In the dub, Brock uncomfortably talks about how she can violate his rights.
It's a girl? Oh yeah, you're right about that.
She can violate my rights if...
Hey!
If you think that's a bit much, the original Japanese goes much, much further. There, Brock remarks that he can't wait to see her in 8 years.
かわいい。
8.5が楽しみだ。
ちょっと待ってよ!
If that line had made it into the English, the implication alone would have put Brock on Officer Jenny's most wanted list. Keep in mind, this is less than 10 episodes into the series too. Look, Pokémon has a lot of questionable censorship decisions, but this one was probably for the best.
She's really pretty, isn't she?
Yeah, she looks just like a movie star.
They're like stars, do they?
Number 14, putting out the fire. There's no place like Hoenn. Mei's Torchic got off on a rather heated start in the Hoenn seasons. It was fine enough when its Ember attack was just targeting enemies, but things changed when it turned its beak towards the human characters like Max and James.
Torchic, stop that right now!
Torchic set them ablaze on different occasions in the very same episode. So, while the fire was quickly put out before any harm was done, the moments were still skipped in the English dub.
Ash, why don't you join us for lunch? You must be starved.
With that in mind, Max, James, and English censors probably all rejoiced when Torchic finally grew out of its fiery phase.
This is all wrong. You're so teensy. Most definitely not Team Rocket material.
Number 13, Jinx's coloring. Holiday Hijinks. At first, this episode was dubbed and released just like any other installment of the first season. However, shortly after it aired, many thought Jinx's risque design and black color scheme reinforced racial stereotypes.
Jinx, Jinx, Jinx.
The controversy was enough to get the episode removed from broadcast and future DVD releases for almost 15 years.
Jinx.
Nowadays, the original dubbed episode is back in network television rotation.
Look, there are tons of Santas. And tons of presents too.
But on most streaming sites, the episode has been heavily edited to turn Jinx's skin from black to purple, reflecting her modernized design in the games. Given all the fuss, it's a Christmas miracle this episode ever saw the light of day at all. Number 12, whining about wine. Explode and clear. Team Rocket as a whole are the equivalent to globally renowned criminals. But despite that, their boss still isn't allowed to drink any alcohol, apparently. During one of Jesse, James, and Meowth's fantasies, they envision Giovanni sipping on a glass of wine.
Cloud's familiar scream signals it's bedtime.
In the English dub, however, the glass and coloring is altered to remove any hint of actual alcohol. This isn't just a one-off instance either. Over a decade later, the same thing happened to Professor Kukui and Burnett. Their wedding toast was changed from wine glasses to cups of orange juice. Must have been a dry ceremony. Number 11, Misty's Slap. Pokémon, I Choose You. Ash and Misty got off to a rocky start even before he stole her bike.
I'm borrowing this! Wait, hey, that's my bike!
After fishing them up, the Cerulean gym leader criticizes the newbie trainer for Pikachu's injured state. And she tops it off with one hell of a slap to the face.
Yeah, I'm okay. Not you! Look what you've done to that poor little thing!
The dub skips the whole thing with a prolonged still frame, but neglects to change Misty's pose afterwards.
Yeah, I'm okay. Not you! Look what you've done to that poor little thing!
Since this is the very first episode of the show, a quick censoring should have been forgiven. But they do such a poor job at editing the scene, it ends up more distracting than if they just left the slap in. Number 10, Safe Shurikens. Aiming for the top floor. Before Ash and his friends can fight the leader of a ninja-themed gym, they have to prove their worth by throwing shurikens into a wooden target.
Hi there! My name is Shirataki, and on this floor, you'll deal with the target challenge.
Although Lily's reckless throwing gives Kiawe an impromptu haircut, no one is hit by the ninja weapons. But this scene was apparently too dangerous for American children. In the English dub, the shurikens became bright pink and suction cups were added to the sharp ends. The censors also altered the weapon's sound effects and cut the animation of Kyawe's hair getting shredded. We get that censors didn't want American children treating shurikens like toys, but it's ironic that a show built around Pokémon fighting each other found this relatively harmless scene to be too violent.
Pikachu, use Iron Tail!
Number 9. Jessie's midriff. The Sun, the Scare, the Secret Lair. Jessie's Team Rocket uniform is nothing less than iconic. She's been wearing some variation of a crop top emblazoned with the letter R and a miniskirt since 1997.
What's that sound again?
It has a familiar ring.
But her outfits became subject to censorship in 2019. When The Sun, the Scare, the Secret Lair episode was aired in Indonesia, fans noticed that Jessie's midriff was mysteriously blurred out. To make matters more baffling, her back was still visible in several shots.
You don't look a gift for wearing the mouth.
It's hard to tell why Indonesian censors waited 2 decades to shoddily cover up Jessie's belly button. Unfortunately for them, but fortunate for us, we don't think Jessie will abandon her trademark outfit anytime soon.
I can't! No more waiting, please! I'm bored out of my mind!
I don't see we have a choice. None.
Number 8. Putting out matches. Snow Way Out. When Team Rocket needed to wait out a snowstorm in an igloo, they relied on matches for warmth. But American censors didn't want kids to see the characters holding lit matches.
We're sunk. All of our food and supplies are on that balloon.
Yeah, and it's starting to snow.
So they tried to cut every shot of the tiny flames. When they absolutely had to show Meowth holding fire, he's seen holding a birthday candle.
How are we ever going to survive in this igloo?
And this candle is our last bit of heat.
Not only did the candle look hilariously out of place, but it was still fully lit. And after all that editing, they showed Meowth holding burnt out matches anyway. We understand that the censors were trying to promote fire safety, but there had to be a better way to address this than stealing a candle from a non-existent birthday cake.
Yep, it's mighty hot, all right. Huh?
Number 7. Meowth's out-of-body experience. The Sun, the Scare, the Secret Lair. While his friends fish for Pokémon, Meowth notices the ghost-type Pokémon Mimikyu floating in the water.
I say, where are its insides?
After seeing its ghastly true form, we cut to Meowth floating face down in the water. In the next scene, his soul returns to his body, and he references going to the other world. The combination of imagery and dialogue made it clear Meowth almost became a ghost type permanently. This dark joke was toned down considerably in the English dub. The censors removed the image of Meowth floating face down and the shot of his fleeting soul. Instead, they edited the scene to look like he fainted. Although he still references the afterlife, the lack of grim imagery made it easier for the somewhat sinister jest to go over children's heads. Number 6. Team Rocket's unfortunate salute. All things bright and beautifly. An innocent Team Rocket daydream that became a controversy in an instant.
Jessica can finish things with a bang!
Good luck, Jessie.
Show him who the star is.
When the terrible trio imagined themselves winning the Pokémon contest, Jessie, James, Meowth, and a crowd of Rocket grunts were seen pointing their right arms up into the air. Although it was supposed to look like they were all waving to an adoring crowd, it somewhat resembled a Nazi salute. The English dub altered the scene so that everyone in the crowd had their arms at their side.
After I win, I'll have my very own Jessie fan club.
Wow.
While the scene may have been short, this was an absolutely crucial edit. No fascist gestures in our kids' anime, please.
You know Dragon Claw? What about Sideways? Luster Purge?
Number 5, a wildly inappropriate question. The Kangaskhan Kid. Anyone remember the time Ash and company met a wild child named Tommy who was raised by Kangaskhan?
Look at Tomo!
In the English dub, when Tommy meets Misty, he stares her down and asks if she's a Pokémon, prompting her to hit him in return.
You people or Pokemon?
I'm a person, you creep!
While this may seem like an extreme response, it makes way more sense when you hear the original question. In the Japanese version, Tommy asks Misty if he would, nurse him. Considering that Misty herself is a minor, Tommy's question and the accompanying visuals are wildly inappropriate. A bit creepy.
This is your mother and your father, and your real name is Tommy. Think back, Tommy. Try to remember, Tommy.
Number 4, Lenora's outfit. A night at the Nazarene City Museum. Gym leader Lenora had to undergo an important redesign before she appeared in the English dub. The character was introduced as a black woman who wore a full-body apron and had a bandana tied around her head. This combination caused audiences to draw comparisons between her and the racist Mammy caricature, one that depicted an enslaved African-American woman who wore a bandana and apron. In an effort to ensure the character wouldn't come across as a racist stereotype, Lenora's apron was edited out completely.
Hi, dear. You couldn't have picked a better time to come home.
This change was so significant that Lenora's character design was altered on websites, in graphic novels, and in the mainline games.
I see. Does that mean you came to challenge my gym?
Cool! I'm Ash from Pallet Town, and you're right. I'd love to challenge you to a gym battle.
Of course.
Number 3, Brock's Jelly Donuts. Primate goes bananas. Onigiri is a common Japanese dish that is made up of rice and a number of delicious fillings. It also has the unique ability to morph into a completely different food when it's being dubbed for American audiences.
Maybe it wants a donut.
In this now legendary dub moment, Brock infamously holds up a batch of onigiris and calls them Jelly-Filled Doughnut.
Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
While we understand that American children may not be familiar with this dish, we still don't understand why they needed to change it. Did they think American children hated rice? Or that they wouldn't notice that onigiri looks nothing like jelly donuts? The only benefit of this baffling change was that it gave the internet a great meme.
It's a donut!
Number 2, Miltank's Udders. Got Miltank? After Cyndaquil and Meowth are injured and separated from their trainers, they are brought to a Miltank to heal.
It's a Miltank!
The cow-like Pokemon uses a combination of glowy hands and its naturally produced milk to heal others. However, American censors took issue with its udders. In the original Japanese version, Meowth and Cyndaquil are clearly shown drinking the milk directly from Miltank, which was completely cut from the English dub. If you look very, very closely, you can still see the moments where Cyndaquil detaches from an udder, but that's about as close Western audiences got. People have been to farms, you know.
I've heard about this, but I've never seen it. Miltank must be using its milk drink ability where it uses its milk to transfer its own energy to other Pokemon in order to heal them.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, inflatable accessories. Beauty and the Beach. There are plenty of examples of James assuming disguises throughout the anime, but the outfits he wore in this highly controversial episode sent the censors into overdrive.
Everyone's eating at the Twipateria.
If all the customers go to their place instead of here, we won't make any more money.
To infiltrate a beauty contest, James puts on a bikini, attaches inflatable breasts to himself, and pumps them up to astounding size, where he then proceeds to make fun of Misty for being on the flat side. The outrage caused by this led to the episode being banned for years. Even after being heavily edited, it was barely shown on Western television and isn't available on several streaming services. James's controversial accessories will ensure that this episode will live forever in infamy.
With a build-up like that, none of the judges will give me a second look.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.